Oh, wow. Crazy K is ready to do it again. Bet you guys didn't know that was used to be one of my nicknames, I guess, back in the days when I played in the NFL. It was handed to me mainly because I was one of the ones going down on the cover team on the kickoff units and punt teams and stuff, buying my time as an NFL player, waiting for my turn to possibly take a starting role from somebody. But in the meantime, I fell in love with special teams, and there were some times when I was like doing some stuff that made no sense. When we were playing against Arizona, I said, you know what? Let me show these guys something. Went out there against the double team, pop, split the double team, past these dudes, headed straight down for the punt returner. It was Eric Metcalf at the time. Did a beeline straight at Eric. Eric didn't see me. I came on in with my right hand, boom, knocked the ball loose, tackled him, and fell on the ball for a fumble recovery. And that play right there was able to change the momentum of the game, and we ended up tying the game shortly after that, and then our defense held strong, and offense put on some more points, and we won that game. So special teams was something that you had to fall in love with, but you were known as crazy if you really did your job appropriately, because your job was basically to go down there and blast people to get to the returner. Sometimes you had to sacrifice your body and go in there, body first on that wedge. Since then, I think they've banned the wedge approach, and even a bunch of other stuff going in low, which I obviously I understand all that. But a lot of things that are being done nowadays may come off as soft, but it's a new league, and overall, it's there to protect the players' health. So, you got to give it up for that stuff. So, but in my day, they weren't worried about that. They said send them in. So anyway, but yeah, Crazy K, we're here on episode 8 of Uncuffed. It's great to be here with you guys. I'm going to have a guest coming in later on today. His name is Mr. Johnny Martin, a filmmaking extraordinaire, Bay Area product, and he was my mentor as well. If you read his IMDb page, this guy has done a lot. Ever since 18, he's been into film business. He started off as a stunt man, kind of mastered that really quickly, and then became a stunt coordinator, which is pretty dang impressive to go up to being a coordinator right away. So that just means that you know what you're doing, and you devote your time and effort to your skill set, and it's rewarded. So he's ended up being honored as the stunt coordinator for great films like Gone in 60 Seconds, where he made won some awards and Emmys and all that. He's gone on since to work with some of the biggest names in Hollywood, from Nicolas Cage to Al Pacino, Donald Sutherland, who's one of my favorite. The ones I just named are one of my favorites as well. But Donald Sutherland, I remember watching in Animal House. Was the first time I remember seeing a Donald Sutherland, and his role was very just evil in that, even though he wasn't supposed to be evil. He was a teacher, and I just remember him just being so sly with what he was doing. If anybody remembers that movie Animal House, but that was Donald Sutherland. He was super young then, and then he went on to just kind of blow up in the movie field. So my man Johnny Martin got a chance to direct him in one of his films called Alone. And I keep in contact with Johnny now, and I'm super excited to be able to have him on as our guest. He'll come on later on, and I want you guys to hear directly from him. He has some big things planned, and he always takes the time to check on me and make sure that I'm doing good, because everybody knows my movie making aspirations have always been there. I've written 5 scripts so far. One started off with action uh, uh, adventure, I guess, called Iron Mike. And then I went on to write a murder mystery called Raised for Murder. And then I think I switched up and did the comedy. I started Iowa's Finest around that time. Iowa's Finest has since been kind of, I've redone it and I've, added some things, taken out some things and stuff because it was written, I first started it back in '93 when I was with the Jets in training camp. And there's actually writing that script saved my neck because it was able to get me focused and keep me back into the game, and believing in myself. And then so later on in life, I was able to go back and finish that script. And I want to just say we just got notified. Our movie making group just got notified that the screenplay Iowa's Finest was accepted into the Las Vegas Premiere Film Festival, which takes place in a couple weeks, and I could not be more proud of our team, of our producers, our camera people, everybody, even the script readers who they weren't the nicest people in the world. You send your script and you think you've done a great job, and then they give it back to you, and every page is covered with red ink, and it's like, wait, that wasn't funny? How is that not funny? And then you get comments like, "What are you thinking? Oh my God!" And if you're, if you're not quite focused and you kind of get that sensitive skin, or you won't probably hang in there with it. So you have to be able to just accept it that they're there to make your script better, and they did. They charged you for the new red pens that they needed to replace the old ones, but it was well worth it because it's great when you think about that, and it's real when you think about actually. It might be funny to you and it might be good to you, but that doesn't mean that everybody else is gonna laugh or think it's funny or be moved or whatever. So you have to have that security in yourself that you're okay with letting somebody else read it. And it's just like proofreading your work back in freaking sixth grade when the teacher would say, "Okay, hand your paper to your friend," or your classmate to your right or whatever. And then it was just kind of like, most of the time they really didn't really read it, but it was just kind of like the teacher was basically setting the stage from back then that, always proofread your work. A lot of times people catch stuff that you didn't know. It's just like, whoa, okay, I'm glad I did not sit in that one. So it's great. It's been a great, great road. And then I went on to write another one called Extreme Hate. Now that we're really, really pushing forward with making our films into real life and getting them onto the big screen, doing Extreme Hate is going to be a pleasure. It's going to be challenging, but the premise is very unique and very necessary, I think. It's really about. I can't even tell you about that. I don't want you guys to steal my idea. So, sorry about that if I hurt somebody's feelings. But man, you gotta protect your stuff here in the movie making business. But I can tell you about one of my other ones called Easy Prey. Mainly because it's a subject matter where not very many people are going to want to touch that. It's basically a story of a young kid, 18ish, I guess, who unwittingly promises his soul to the devil. And when he goes on to become an adult, he's kind of moved on, forgotten all about that night where he had a complete breakdown. And then, lo and behold, guess who shows up to collect? And then that's one where, it's one of those that's going to be a big budget film. It just is, because it's all obviously. The devil shows up, and then you're in a battle with the devil. You're going to have all kinds of bells and whistles and special effects and stuff. And yeah, we weren't ready for that one. Our movie making group got together once we kind of saw who was for real and who really wants to push forward with this thing. I know one of my other movie making partners, Mr. Ray Godoy, he's written several scripts himself. One he let me read is about an assassin, and it is legit. It's Mission Impossible 1 through 8 all in one episode, in my opinion. And when it's time and that movie is shot, it's gonna be fantastic. But that's a big budget film. A lot of his other scripts are big budget too. So we all looked at each other. It's like, hey, we wanna move forward. We wanna produce our first feature film. We've done short films and all that, and that's great. But that's where you get your mistakes out, and you kind of iron out your style. You find your perfect camera guy, and you get the chemistry going. It's just like building your own NFL team. The general manager has to come on in and kind of trial and error, make this move, and if that doesn't work out, you cut your loss. With that and stuff, we had to make a decision. Which script would it be? So we went back to Iowa's Finest. It's a comedy. Everybody needs comedy in their life, and the storyline is very kind of cut and dry. Two small town Iowa boys ditch the farm and try their luck at becoming big city cops. Hilarity ensues. Boom. It's not going to be big budget, but yeah, obviously we're going to devote our funds and the resources to making one seriously good film, and we're actually in contact with Marlon Wayans' agents to try to see if we can get him on board. If we can, that would be one heck of a dream come true for me. That guy makes nothing but funny, legit movies, and he gets done with his bit, and then he moves on to the next one. Just spreading joy wherever he goes. So I'm definitely keeping my fingers crossed, and hopefully that will happen. So yeah, we're ready, and we're going to be going down to Las Vegas here in a couple weeks to hopefully promote our film some more at the film festival, and get ready. And maybe in the next 3 to 4 months, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed on that one. Hopefully we'll be ready to roll. We'll have everything in place. So I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing so far. So, I've been out to a couple movies lately myself. Just went to go see the movie Nope, and I don't know about that one. I'm a big Jordan Peele fan. I'm just kind of like when I'm watching it, there were so many different things that just came up that I wasn't expecting to see. Obviously, if you haven't seen the movie, just a small spoiler. When I watched that movie, the tension was definitely set up very, very well. You could tell something was about to happen, and something you probably haven't seen before, and you just knew it was going to just be like, whoa, what the heck am I watching? The problem with it's not a problem. I mean, it's a good movie. It's just that I couldn't relate that to real life. To me, it was like for those who've seen it, correct me, maybe you can kind of feel how I'm feeling, but it was like I was watching one of my daughters when they were young, and they're like 6 or 7, and they're watching the Cartoon Network, and we're watching one of those shows like The Regular Show or the Adventure Time or something like that, where our heroes of both shows are battling some crazy demonic, spiritual force that came from outer space, and one minute it looks normal, the antagonist that's going up against our hero, and they look normal, and then all of a sudden just they change shape, and now everything looks completely different, and there's all this imagery in the back and colorations and these beams of light, and they go from this little small regular sized person to this huge gigantic transformer type sized freaking monster with all these different things, and it's really weird, bizarre. And it was just kind of like, that's what it seemed like that happened in that movie. And for a minute, it kind of took me out. Like, is this supposed to be a real movie, or are they just trying to just expand the realms of people's thought processes. And it was just kind of like seeing that go from a regular spaceship, which seemed cool, to go into something that I've never seen before when it began changing shapes, and then it starts sucking up horses, and it's just like, uh, okay, you know, like I said, I mean, every movie we make with our group, we're all going to go into the whole thing knowing that just because we think it's going to be good, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to like it. That's just the way it works. And Jordan Peele he's going to move on to his next movies, and he's going to just keep dialing them in, and just knocking them out like he is. And it's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to the next one. And you know what? Nope was the type of movie where you can probably go back and watch it again, and then it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it now. It all makes more sense. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. And then guess what? So me, my wife, and my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law all went out to go see the Elvis movie. My wife's a big Elvis fan. And that was a good movie. It really was. It was surprisingly good. So there were so many different things, so many different levels, and they set it up well. They started it when Elvis was a little boy, and I've never seen that side or heard that side that came with the Elvis story. He literally was in like a black church, and that black church environment, with the gospel singing and all the different things, feeling the Holy Ghost, and shoot, I'm watching that. I was like, I remember those days. I mean, when we'd go down to Mississippi for summer break or whatever, we were always going to church on Sundays, and if anybody's been to like a Baptist church down in the South. It's a whole nother level, and that's kind of how that's what it was in the film. And I'm just like, I never knew Elvis grew up in that type of environment. So right off the bat, I was kind of thrown off guard because, I remember hearing a rumor, and we ended up googling it later on and kind of looking more into it. But I remember hearing a rumor that Elvis once said some things that were unpleasant about black people, and something about all they can do is shine their shoes and buy his music, and that just didn't make any sense to me. So maybe it was this vicious rumor that was created to strike out against Elvis for whatever reason, out of jealousy or something, but if a lot of those facts that were in that film are in fact true, man, I mean, I gotta have a lot more respect for that man than I thought that I could, because he did pave the way, the best way he could for black artists, and I mean, it goes deeper than that. I'm just touching the surface, but I mean, it was a perfect movie for now. I mean, when I went there, we were surrounded by, I want to say several, maybe I wouldn't say elderly, but just kind of older couples, and more than likely they came to see this, to reminisce about the days when they were younger and they saw Elvis for the first time. You can just tell the energy level of that of at the theater. It was booming. So the directors, the producers, everybody who put that film together, and I'm sure the historians who added the storyline about when he was younger, man, I'm hoping all that is true, because if it's not, then you guys made a great creative product, but if it is true, then man, you guys touched on some things about one of the greatest, if not the greatest, pop artist of all time, or blues artist, whatever you call it. He was doing all kinds of music, man, but it was just mind blowing that everything was that everything I saw on screen was related back to Elvis Presley. So now I get it why my wife wanted to name our second daughter Presley, and so in the end, that's her middle name. So I get it now. So yeah, go check it out. Go check out both movies. I mean, it's getting out to the theaters is one of the best things you can do to kind of transform yourself. Get some place that you haven't been. You can kind of relax and just kind of just take a break from all the craziness that's going on in the world. That's one of the main reasons why this movie making group, 80 Productions, why we're moving forward with everything. Has it been an easy road? Heck no, it hasn't. But we really wanna do our part to raise people's spirits and stuff. We feel like we got some really good products here. That's going to be very, very entertaining. But I really wouldn't really be there. I don't think, if it wasn't for my mentor, Mr. Johnny Martin. I mean, he's done so much. I remember when he first made his first feature film, because after doing stunt coordinating and all that and producing film, he wanted to direct. And I was there when he did his first feature film, his first real feature film. If you listen to the title now, it's called Delirium, but at the time it was called Case 13, and it was shot out there in Oakland, in the Oakland area. There's one scene in particular where the house, where everything takes place, the Dunsmuir's house, where I was there. It was fantastic. I met the actors. I got a chance to watch them as they got into character and they set the stage. It was a exciting road. It was freezing though. Holy smokes! It was so cold. And that's when I was a police officer with San Leandro, and actually Johnny and his other producer partners, they reached out to me, and because they needed help with a police car and actually a police officer, and they wanted me to play the role, but I'm not an actor, and I already know that. I once got fired from a set where I was a cop, and my only role was to go up to the lady and say, "Hey, you need to move your car." It took 30 plus takes just to do that. In the end, the director said, "All right, you can leave now." And then they had to bring in some security guard at the airport to play that role. So, yeah, I already knew right off the bat. I'm like, guys, I'm not even gonna waste your time. Sorry. So I found somebody else to play that role for them, and I think he did a really, really good job for them. And one of my other coworkers, Mr. Alex Heides, played the backup role as his partner, and it's spot on. Alex Heides right there. I mean, when you watch him, he has this robot look, like he's a Terminator, and he's he's shining this light on these poor kids who are getting ready to sneak into this haunted house, Dunsmuir house, but they're trying to build up the courage and having some beers and stuff, which obviously you can't do as a youngster like that. Then the cops show up. It's a great scene. And then one of the beautiful things that I like about this project is because I got a chance to see it before it kind of changed over. What ended up happening is that they presented, and I'll let Johnny tell you too. He'll tell the story with more detail, but all I know is that Sony was interested in their project. They really liked the premise and the storyline. They liked a lot of things that they saw on the film when they were done. But then there were some things that they felt like they wanted more scares, more tension, more spookiness, I guess. Which I can understand. I mean, that's Sony. So, and they made an offer, and I'll let Johnny tell his story, but he stayed true to his guns because he's the director, and I gotta have a lot of respect for that. Directors, and writers and everybody part of the team, but directors especially if you're the ones who wrote the script, you wrote that script for a reason. It's heartfelt. It's something deep inside said, "Hey man, bring it out. put me on paper and let's make this happen. And I'm 100% positive that's what happened with Johnny's project, Case 13. But in the end, when you're talking about distribution and other production companies wanting to buy it, there's a good chance they're going to change it to how they want to do it. And, it's a great, great experience overall for that production team who did Case 13. Like I said, they changed the name in the end to Delirium. A lot of good things. I saw that one when it was done too. Really good film as well. And Johnny just started taking off from there. A lot of his other films are doing really well. They're original ideas, and that's what another thing that I respect. So here in a bit, we're gonna bring him on, and I'm excited for you guys to get a chance to hear from him, mainly because he's a Bay Area product, and he's down in LA now. Did his thing down in LA, but now he's going international all over the place. So still hammering it down with the filmmaking, So all the people who can kind of go from kind of like the lower rungs of Hollywood and build themselves up. And I'm not saying stunt people are lower rung at all. I'm just trying to say that's where he started. He wasn't even a stuntman at the time. He just had like this idea that he wanted to get into film. And I'm probably not gonna be able to clean that up a little bit. So I'll just apologize to any stunt people who are offended by me saying that. But anyway, it's a crazy, crazy road when it comes to filmmaking. And for me, I give nothing but respect to those who continue pushing forward, even though they may not get the best of feedback from people from their project when it's done. That's all part of it. Here, when we come back from our break, Mr. Johnny Martin's going to be here with us, and I cannot wait. So with that, K-Shed Uncuffed, Episode 8, we'll be back. Woo-hoo! K-Shed Uncuffed, we're back. The music that we have and we bring it to our lives and stuff, it's a mood setting and it's tone setting. And I want to thank my producer, Mr. Jeffrey Wilson, for monitoring everything that we're doing, making sure everything's sounding legit. Everybody, and especially my guest right here, will tell you that the sound of your project determines pretty much everything. And, it's a good thing to lead us into our second session with our highly esteemed guest here. And just like I was telling you guys, I have my mentor, my really good friend, an idol of mine, and a guy who just doesn't seem like he's going to be stopping anytime soon. He's a Bay Area product, and he's just getting started. And so with no further ado, I want to introduce you to my great friend, Mr. Johnny Martin. Johnny, how are you, buddy?
Hello, my dear friend Kenny. How you been?
I've been good. I've been sitting in the background, just kind of watching what you have going on. I mean, you are like all over the place. And, but today you're in Las Vegas, right? You're walking into the stadium, the beautiful Allegiant Stadium and everything, and you see Mark Davis getting ready to get in the elevator.
Okay.
You scoot full speed, and you put your hand in there before the doors close, and then you're in there with them, and you say, "Mr. Davis, I got something for you." Let's hear it.
All right. Well, before I even look at him, just like in a movie tone, of course,
Yeah.
I would start off with saying, not too many people get a film made about themselves, and the ones that do, unfortunately, don't really get the story being told by the people that care about them the most. And when they do tell the story, sometimes it's negative and about the stories that especially the person that the story's about does not want them to hear, doesn't want anyone to hear. Well, I'm here to say that I'm the one that should be telling your dad's story. And the reason why is because not only am I a diehard Raider fan, and my family was a diehard Raider fan, and not only because, God, the only A I probably ever got in high school or junior high was when I told the story about Davis. But he was a man that I never got to meet, but was my biggest hero and the one that influenced me to give everything I have. And I'm a small town boy of San Leandro, and and I always was told to treat people kind, but there's a time where you need to push yourself in and be confident, and that's what Al Davis was. And Mr. Davis, I really want to tell you your dad's life story, not the story that everyone wants to talk about every day, but the story about all the people that he helped, not only the football players, but the people outside of football. It could even be someone's wife that helped them. And it's time that we tell this story. It really is, and it's time to tell the story right.
Oh my goodness. Dude, wait, I have to go get some tissue first off because you hit all the strings, Johnny. Al Davis means so much to anyone associated to the Raider Nation and anyone associated to the NFL, really. And so I'm honored to be kind of included with the attempts to kind of get the script presented to Mark Davis one day. The name of the script is called Just Win, and I got a chance to read the treatment to everybody, and let me tell you, it's premier. It's heartfelt on many levels, and it's a side of Mr. Al Davis that you didn't really know about, and Johnny, and we're gonna come back to that and all that stuff, but I wanted to really kind of take a moment to really digest what and who Johnny Martin is and what your plans are. So you said you're a San Leandro kid. Is that where you got your start?
San Leandro, born and bred, and just a kid that fell in love with movies after he met someone at a car wash. And ever since I met him when I was 8 years old, I decided that I didn't want to be a stuntman or an actor or a producer. I just wanted to be a filmmaker. And that was my goal all along. And I'm finally at that point in my career.
Who was that person?
His name was H.P. Halicki. He did a movie called Gone in 60 Seconds. And the funny thing about that story, I'll say it really quick for your podcast.
No, take your time.
Is that I met him when I was 7 years old because I loved hot rods and I loved hanging out at car washes just to see the hot rods coming in. And this one man came out of his car and he had a car that was all crashed up. And I said, "Sir, what happened to your car?" As I rode up on my bike to him. And he said, "Son, this ain't a car. This is an actress. Her name is Eleanor. She starred in my film called Gone in 60 Seconds." And he told me all about himself, how he was a producer, a director, an editor, a financier. And he says, the key thing is you want to be a filmmaker. And I said, well, I want to be a filmmaker. He says, well, when you turn 18, you come and see me and I'll help you, but you start training now. And I did. I practiced every day my acting, my stunts, and everything I could about filmmaking. And then I went to LA when I was 18, and on the drive there, my mom called me and told me that H.B. Halicki died that day. And he died doing Gone in 60 Seconds Part 2, where a bad accident happened during a stunt, and a cable came by and sliced him in half, and it was a horrible story, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know anyone in L.A., and I just kept pushing through, what he told me, and, my belief in even in Al Davis and everything that inspired me when I was a kid. And basically, 10 years after that, I got asked to design all the action for this new movie with Nicolas Cage that I won awards for, and the movie was Gone in 60 Seconds.
Wow. I've never heard that. I mean, you and I have had some really, really deep conversations, and I've never heard that about how you got your start, and that's unfortunate. Sorry that happened, my friend.
But you know what? Everything happens for a reason, and he guided me, and he brought me where I am today, so I appreciate him.
Yeah. So what was it like working with Nicolas Cage?
Well, I've done 8 films with Nick, and fortunately, I've been a stuntman on his film. I've been actors on his film, and a stunt coordinator on 4 of his films, and second unit director. And then my last film, I was able to direct him in a movie, Vengeance, a Love Story. Anyway, it was a terrific experience. Nick is an amazing man. He doesn't think he's Nick Cage, by the way, audience. He thinks that, he plays a character called Nicolas Cage, and he knows that everyone likes him to get crazy. And so whenever we get into a role and go through dialogue and everything, he would say, Johnny, would Nick Cage do this? And we'd have to design it around this character that he has portrayed and he created and made into a superstar.
Oh, wow. That's true professionalism, huh?
Yes, it is.
Oh, man.
Amazing friend and amazing man.
So all that time is like mixed in when you're kind of doing, because I was telling our listeners about Case 13.
Yes.
Was that kind of in the same time when you did some stuff with them and then did your own, or where does Case 13 fit in there?
Well, Case 13 happened. Well, the funny thing is, I did Case 13. It was a small budget horror movie that won a lot of awards, and I made it because not only was it a true story about me and my friends growing up at the Dunsmuir house in Oakland, that things happened to us, but it was also a way that I could show financiers a way that I could direct actors and to show them that I'm capable of directing a movie. Because when you do stunts and you do action in a movie, people think you're reckless and you may not be a filmmaker. And I need to prove that through my movie Case 13, Delirium. And after that was my very next movie that the financier trusted me on was the Nicolas Cage movie. So really, Delirium is and Case 13 got me the chance to direct Nicolas Cage.
You are a visionary then, is what you're saying.
I knew that I had to prove it. I knew I had to prove to everyone that I wasn't to what my resume showed. Here my resume shows 300 movies as a stuntman, stunt coordinator, second unit director, and 20 producing credits, and now 5 directing credits. But when you look at my resume, people want to assume that I'm just a stuntman sometimes. And sometimes you need to prove your worth and go outside the box and take a little risk.
Wow. Was it very easy getting everything in place that you needed to have in place for Case 13?
Case 13 was done with a 10-man crew.
Wow.
And basically what I did, and I wanted to show something that people don't do, and that movie was very important to me because I wanted to try something that I've been always trying to do in films, and that is that I told the actors to read the script, and we read it together like 8 times together, and we read it together over and over. And when we got up that, I took out a trash can, and I told them to throw the script in the trash can because we knew what the story was, and we knew what we had to say, and let's just do this thing improv. The whole movie is pretty much an improv movie, and it came out so realistic for me, and really they played my friends very well.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. Do you believe that the Dunsmuir house is really haunted?
100%. 100%. I have proof of it. I have a photo of it that shows my father. I was telling him about the haunted experiences I had, and he didn't believe it either. Then they showed me a room that's haunted upstairs, and they told me to go in the closet, and you'll feel something, a breeze or something that brushes against your neck, and I did, and had my dad go in there, and I took a photo to get the reaction, and when I did, it was a pitch black room, and when I took the photo, a light was coming from inside the closet, which there was no light. So there is a lot of things that happen. People have fallen down those stairs, broken their knees, their necks. Bad things have happened in that house, and I didn't allow my actors to go in that house until it was time to shoot. I didn't want them to see anything of it until they had to experience it for the first time.
Oh my goodness. And I bet you they were terrified too.
They were terrified. I also have to say thank you to Kenny right here because he helped a lot with this movie. I'll tell you, I'm really happy with what you did help me with that.
Well, I was going to mention that. I was going to say I was terrified, and I was in the back watching you guys take care of business, and I'm just like, wow, they're really going to go into that house. And I knew from the very beginning that you guys had a hit, and there was something very, very special. And I got a chance to watch you perform as a director, and it seemed to me like you've been doing that for a long, long time. You had very much strong command over the cast, and you had a very, very, which I really loved, very, very solid connection with your camera guy. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it really was. I really need to connect. I mean, to me, we have to be telling the same story as as a director, Kenny. You have to find that perfect team, and sometimes the smaller the crew, the better, because having a 10-man crew allowed me to hide the crew from the actors and let them experience something for the first time. And my DP was from Israel because I really connected well. I didn't care where in the world someone's from as long as there's a connection. Yeah. And that's most important, as you probably know.
Yeah. There was a scene that you guys did. It wasn't in Case 13. I think it was added, and I was letting everybody know. I don't know if that came in after you guys spoke with Sony, but it's the bathroom scene. Oh my goodness! Can you talk about that? That was mind blowing.
Yeah, you know what? I do a lot of homages in all my movies. I mean, like the late great Tony Scott, who did Man on Fire and Top Gun and amazing movies. He inspires me and taught me how to direct. and I always tribute all my movies to him. But I always do an homage to some directors throughout all of my movies, and Case 13 Delirium was one of them. The Shining is that scene. It's when Jack goes to the bathroom and sees the old lady coming out of the tub, and I kind of copied that, not to be a copy on it, but it was an homage to an amazing scene that really terrified me as a kid. And so I really had to put that in the movie.
Shoot, it terrified me as an adult. How you guys pulled that off, it was amazing because, like I said, I thought I had seen pretty much the movie because I went to you guys' screening when you screened it as Case 13, and then
Right.
I was down in LA with my movie making group, and we were doing some things, and then on my way back I stopped at a theater and to watch Delirium when it was changed over, and I wasn't expecting that scene. Several other scenes too, but that one really, really affected me. It had me kind of like wanting to kind of hang out and wait till it turned daytime to leave the theater because it was night, and I'm just like, I don't know who's waiting for me out there. It was that good. Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, that movie, it was hard because we shot that movie as a found footage, and I knew that I had a short period of time before, our industry and the audience changes views of movies very quickly, and I knew that they were tired of the found footage, so I went right back to work, and I changed the whole movie to not be a found footage anymore, and I made it more of a film-like, and we did it for like $20,000 to change the whole over, but it was so hard to do, but it was something I know I needed to do to sell the movie properly and to get it seen by the audience.
Awesome. And then you've been doing all kinds of projects since then. I remember seeing Alone, some of the other ones you've had going on, Hangman. Were those fun or challenging or a mixture of both?
Oh man, when you get the chance to sit with Al Pacino and be able to say, I want to do your movie, and then when Al calls, you run to him and you listen. And I said, I'll make you a deal. I'll come to your house anytime you want, but you have to tell me a story about your past. Wow. And so he would definitely call me up every night and to tell me a story. And I said, okay, tell me a story quick. And he'd tell me a story about Scarface. Tell me a story about Godfather. And he kept telling me all these stories over and over. And every day on the set, I would go to him at lunch and we'd eat lunch together. And he'd just tell me stories. And I'm a movie buff, and I just love everything about movies. And to me, I don't know if I enjoyed directing him as much as I enjoyed hearing his stories.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. So I mean, you guys were running through scenes together and all that stuff. What was that like?
Well, he did something amazing, and I hope your audience appreciates this, is that he called me one day, and I was in Georgia, and he said, get home, I need to talk to you right away. And I flew home. I got to LA in Beverly Hills to his house, and he said, okay, what's this character? Tell me more about her. I said, Al, she just says, how are you? And that's all she says in the whole movie. And he goes, well, tell me more about her. He goes, where are you from? And I go, Cleveland. He goes, is her family divorced? Is there and does she have a boyfriend? Is she here because she's on the job, or she wanted to be here? And does she have a lot of money? Is she suffering? And he asked me all these questions about this one-line character, and I never understood it. Then we go to shoot the scene, and he goes up to her, and he's supposed to walk right by her and ignore her. Instead, he says, hello, sir, and he puts his hand on her shoulder, and he looks in her eyes, and he walks away. That moment, you could tell that he cared about her and about her life. And just adding a nothing character and adding something to that character, it just goes to show you why he's such a pro.
Oh my goodness. See, I'm a movie buff, and you can't recreate those type of moments,
No.
those little details about the actors, and that it means so much. I mean, I once, and it can make or break a person's true perception of that actor. I'm risking. I don't want anybody to think bad about Meg Ryan, but I was a big Meg Ryan fan until when I played in the World League. She came out to Spain, and she was on our plane, and I'm like, that's Meg Ryan. I go running after, hey, Meg, and she wouldn't stop. And I'm saying, wait, we're from America. Sorry, dude. And she kept walking. I was crushed, and so those little things, especially, I mean, it's not just for, we're telling stories, and we're just giving these actors a chance to kind of hone their craft and continue to teach the world about being a human, not just an actor. And so hearing those stories about Al Pacino, we all grew up watching him.
Oh, believe me, everyone, he's the most amazing human being you'll ever meet. And I wish I could have shared my experience with the world. I really do, because I'm the luckiest man in the world. And if I retired today, I would still know that I am fully satisfied with what I did because of meeting Al Pacino.
Hey, so a lot of and I want to give you credit. I mean, you're a humble director. I mean, that's more of your style, right? You don't like to be flashy or anything like that. You like your product to do the speaking for you, huh?
Yes, yeah, I do. I'm really, believe me, I get really hurt by critics. And as a matter of fact, I probably lost a lot of my career due to critics, because when one of my films gets panned by Rotten Tomatoes, and it's a bunch of kids reading a script and that really just compare notes, and they don't really look at the movie for a movie.
Oh.
I was devastated, and I locked myself in a room for 3 months, and I don't want to ever direct again, because I'm just so hurt, because I gave my heart and soul to a movie, and some person is criticizing my hard work. And it's really hard, because, and these movies that I'm talking about have done very well financially, but it still hurts when someone talks about it. So yeah, I am a little critical on my work.
Well, but you're still working though. You're still pushing together with some fantastic projects and stuff like that. So there's got to be a secret to, and I was kind of talking about that earlier with some of my early scripts, getting them the script writers. You think it's great, and then all of a sudden, half of it's been told that you got to take all this out, and it's like, what? So, I'm with you, but we still kind of have to stick with our script, right? And still push forward with it.
Well, you know what, Kenny? It's so hard, because, the market changes all the time. And so, I mean, the script that I believe in, sometimes if it takes 6 months to make, sometimes I may have to do a major overhaul on that script, just because the market is changing. It's like, now you have to put action in the first 6 minutes of your movie, or else it just won't sell. And so by knowing this stuff, you constantly have to change story. Even though you believe in it, you just have to go with what really works for the world,
Wow. You've been on set the last few days?
Yes, I have. I'm very fortunate.
Cool. Can we hear about that?
Well, that has been really, I've been in the middle of 2 rewrites. I'm getting here we're doing 2 movies that I'm going to be directing, but I secretly, between us and the audience, once a stuntman, always a stuntman, and I love directing action. And so I kind of snuck off in a different name, and I went and did a few TV episodes of 911, and I just wanted, because I was bored and just needed to get the thrill again of action. So I kind of sneak off without anyone knowing about it.
Dude, you are amazing, man. You're like unstoppable, man.
I love working, man. I love making movies, and I love seeing people in the audience where I sit back in the back row. And to me, I sometimes watch movies just to watch people's reaction and know what works and what doesn't work. And so anything I could do to make something, because at the end of the day, as you know, Kenny, films last longer than our lives, and we're lucky that we have something that really tells our story 20 years after we're gone.
I hear you, brother. One thing I want to tell everybody is Johnny. He's a straight shooter, but he says it in a way like he's your bestie. So it's not meant to hurt, but this is something you have to fix. So I bring that up because I invited Johnny and his partners to our first screening of my first movie ever. It was a short film called Hidden Secrets, and that was a terrifying experience. I mean, it's all fun and games and stuff in the film school, but then when it's time to do it for real, it's nerve-wracking. I thought playing in front of 70,000 Chiefs fans and stuff who are screaming at you while the refs are calling every flag on everything was tough. That was a whole nother world, but we got it done, and I'm all proud and all that stuff. We go to the screening, Johnny goes, and we're having a good time and everything, and then afterwards, he's just like, hey, how come you didn't get it color corrected? And I'm like, color corrected? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, there was dark clouds in one scene, then all of a sudden the sun's out like 2 seconds later, and I'm just like, dude, I didn't even know we're supposed to get it color corrected. So all those were like learning lessons that I really didn't know, and it was fantastic. And guys, you know what? Even on my next one, I had some questions, and Johnny was back home from offset and stuff, and he met me out in Pleasanton. Him and I had lunch together, and I ran some things past him. I let him read some of my narratives, and he's just like, "I like this, but you may want to try to do it a little bit more." It was a commercial I was planning on doing with Sebastian Janikowski, and Johnny liked it, but he wanted a little bit more. And what he brought to the table was that experience level of being on set, obviously, from a director's point of view, come at this angle, and also as a true Raider fan, And you remember that day? That was a great day.
Yeah, you had Lincoln Kennedy as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll never forget it. I had Lincoln and Sebastian. Sebastian, okay, in the fantasy pool, kind of killed me at times, but he was still my brother. Lincoln Kennedy was just an overall stud. So
unbelievable.
I had to do whatever I can to help them too.
Yeah, he'll send me messages and stuff too. Just out of the blue, saying how we're doing. He was on set on that film. He really had a blast and all that stuff. So, one of the things that I wanted to retouch as we kind of wind down and all that stuff is back to your treatment, Win Baby. What we've talked together. We talked before about what our plans are going to be. This is truly a film that needs to be made, and now more than ever is the time to put together the plan to get it in front of Mr. Davis. I think he's really going to like this treatment. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and then we make our move to get it out there to him.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kenny. I mean, I think this is a special project. It's one that I'm never going to walk away from. And it's one that I know it's going to take the right time. It's going to happen. With the Raiders move into Las Vegas, I know it kind of pushes back a little bit. And them getting adjusted there. To me, this is my number one priority film that I want to make in my career. So and you only get one chance at it. I just want to make sure that me and you both. And again, to your audience, I will not do this movie without Kenny Shedd. There's no way. Aww. I'm a very loyal man, and I need to make sure that we do this together because his heart and passion to the Raiders is what inspires me as much as anyone else about this movie. So we will be doing this film together, but we will find that right time to meet Mr. Davis and show him why we are the right people to tell the story.
I love it, brother. I can't think of a better way to wrap up our interview than that. I mean, it's all about the Silver and Black Raider Nation, man.
Hell yeah.
They mean a lot to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, and you're gonna do everybody proud with this film project. So, will you do me a favor and keep me posted on? I know you got some trips coming up, and you're gonna be doing some other film projects. Will you shoot me a text and kind of let me know how it's going, so I can keep our listeners updated on Mr. Johnny Martin's continued journey to not take over, but to make his name in Hollywood.
I sure will, Kenny. And for your audience, if you guys listen to this podcast, please send a message to us and tell us who you think should play Mr. Al Davis in the movie.
Man, that's brilliant. I know who you brought up. I don't know if you want to say that, but you want to just wait and hear what they say?
Yeah, I want to hear what they say. I got my idea who could pull this thing off, but I would love to hear what they say because who knows, maybe I'm going to take their idea.
I love it. Johnny Martin, see, man, you got a brilliant mind on you, brother. All right, well, you take care.
Thank you so much, Kenny. I appreciate everything you do for us.
It's been a blast, brother. You take care, and I'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Goodbye, everyone.
All right, Johnny. Take care.
Bye.
Mr. Johnny Martin. I can't talk well enough about that guy. I mean, sincere heart. He'll do anything for you. It was kind of heartbreaking to hear how some of the critics might have affected him with some of the reviews that they did on his film. I think what he was talking about might have been Hangman, and not cool, not cool. You know, I mean, I agree that a lot of these people who are her critics. I mean, shoot, wait a minute here. When I think about it, a lot of times, or I remember when Troy came out, the movie Troy with Brad Pitt, and everybody, for whatever reason, the critics were destroying that film, and not only me. But darn near everybody in the theater and all the people, when I read the comments after they went to go see the movie, nobody knew what these critics were talking about. They thought that was the best movie freaking ever. I thought it was so good that I named my first baby after one of the characters, Mercedes. That's another funny story because actually her name turned out to be something completely different. It was Perseus with a P. So, but anyway, I just fell in love with the name and I fell in love with the movie. I watch it all the time. And I study it as a filmmaker because everything about that film was shot so well. All the characters are so fantastic, and it's a meaningful film, highly entertaining. I totally recommend it. And the same thing with several of the movies that Johnny's done thus far. And I really, really, really believe in the film, that I read that when I was just a treatment, but just when it takes you from when Mr. Davis was an assistant back in San Diego, and we go from there. And these are stories that you just never heard before, and I'm going to be there until the end to make sure that it's presented to Mr. Mark Davis in highlight. And we'll go from there. But I mean, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Us sticking together and us making sure that we're holding that hand down, pulling each other up, and getting the other one up there. So guess what? You guys thought I was going to come today's episode with some more, unfairness at the police department type stuff, huh? No, not this episode. Maybe down the road. And a lot of times those episodes are just really kind of, if I did say something about that, or they're just, you should look at it as kind of like a heads up, I guess, in some senses, because there just might be some type of final showdown that's about to take place here between myself and my former employer. And, we'll see what happens. That's a movie script in itself. I remember talking to a black officer who used to be San Leandro supervisor and got ousted unfairly. And I remember talking to him one time, and he said he was going to make a movie. And I said, really? And I just asked him completely out of blue, what would you name it? And right off the top of his head, he's like, it's freaking hard being black wearing blue. And I'm just like, dude, you did not just think of that. He's like, yes, I did, just at the top of my head. And, it's unfortunate. That's going to be my word when I keep talking about that. It's unfortunate that they chose the route that they took. Tried to warn them, but sometimes people got to learn the hard way. And we'll see what happens. So, man, it's been a blast. It's been a blast. I look forward to the next time we get the chance to talk, and we're going to have some fun. Keep tuning in. Kshed Uncuffed, might even go video as well. And we're just going to keep on growing and keep on growing. You listeners seem to be liking what you're hearing. I like putting it out there, and let's keep working together as a TEAM, baby. Kshed, episode 8. Out.